Hello, hello, hello. It's Sunday night, and that means it's time for our interview. And today, and I'm sure she'll turn up shortly, we'll have the amazing and fabulous Diana George from DJ Styling in Woking. I know Diana through a mutual friend, so it's an actual real life connection this time. And yeah, while she's coming online, I'm just gonna have a little talk because I don't know if you've seen it, but if you're in the area, so in Surrey, we have two happy meetups coming up. We have tomorrow night on Monday night in Chobham and Wednesday night in Guildford, and both will cover the subject of how sometimes our language and the things we say, like phrases, certain phrases we use, can sabotage our happiness, and we will deal with them. So if you're free tomorrow night or Wednesday night, and even if you're not in the area, come and join us, please. It will be a lot of fun. And that, talking about a lot of fun, meet Diana. There she is. Isn't it beautiful?
How are you? I made it. I wasn't sure if the technology is going to work, but
That's fine. You made it. There you are.
it's all good.
Looking glamorous.
Oh, thank you.
Did you have a good weekend?
Yes.
Did you have a good weekend?
Yes, yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's just always a bit of a delay between us.
Oh,
so,
I see.
yeah, we'll interrupt each other a lot.
Yeah. No, I had a good weekend. Two sick children, but it was okay.
Oh, no. Are they okay now? Are they on the mend?
Yes. They're doing okay. They're doing better.
They will live.
Yes, exactly.
Cool. Excellent. Cool. We have the first comment. I can't really. Oh, it's Lucy. She's saying
Lucy,
she will.
hello, darling.
Yeah, if you have any questions, any comments, anything you want to say to us, just fire away and we will get it like 30 seconds after you send it. So we're not being rude, it just always Facebook delays the comments. So
I can't really see all the questions and comments, so should I just leave it up to you to read them?
Okay, yeah. Oh, you can't see them?
Okay, I could see them, but I have this thing in the middle of my phone, so
okay. That's okay. That's okay.
That's holding it.
Keep you posted. We have quite a few viewers.
No worries.
Very nice. So bear with us.
Excellent.
We're now getting started. Right. So, do you quickly want to tell our viewers how you got into styling and how that became your passion?
Yes, sure. So I basically, in my previous life, I had a different career, and I was in investment banking for 14 years, and that was my life. That's all I knew. But fashion has always been my passion. And, since I was little, I've always loved it, but I kind of didn't think it was the right career for me to go at the time. So I chose finance instead of fashion. So as I started having children, I thought finance wasn't really a good choice for, to have with little kids. And I kind of started looking into other things. And I thought, why don't I go into something that I completely love? And I took a styling course. And actually, when I took the styling course, I thought I didn't take it for a career. I just took it for myself. And everybody who was at the group with me, they were doing it as a career, as a stylist career. And I thought, oh my God, this is exactly what I need in my life. This is just totally me. This is what I would love to do. And all my friends would, they would always love to go shopping with me, that they wouldn't go without me. And actually, a few of my good friends recommended me to do that, but I never took it seriously. So after that course, I was like, this is exactly me. And that's how I got into it. And that was it. It completely changed my life. And
Wow, and
yes,
you've never
it's
looked back.
amazing. Never looked back.
Cool. No, but that's always, I mean, the best jobs, well, are not the ones that are a job, but that actually incorporate what you love to do. And
Yeah.
I mean, I know you now, and I know how amazing you look every time I see you. So I definitely know that you have a hand for fashion and that you clearly love what
Oh,
you do.
oh,
So
thank
thank you
you,
very much
darling. It's
for
a huge compliment. Thank you.
coming on.
But it's not
Right.
only that, it's also, it's such a pleasure helping other women as well. And it's
Yeah.
just, that's what makes it good. And that's what makes it so satisfactory.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
that's really right. So let's jump in right into the first question. So, you probably help people figure out their own style as part of your packages, but is there maybe something like a little secret tip that you can give people that haven't quite figured out their style or how to find their style and how to know, yeah, what to go for?
yes, I love that topic because I think it's such a great topic. And I have the whole actually sort of self-development course on that because you could really go so deep into it because it's almost like self-branding. You know, it depends, like what kind of message do you want to give out? What do you want people to think of you? How do you want people to perceive you? And I always, when I do sessions with my clients, I kind of make them go through a little self-discovery. First, well, first of all, you need to know your lifestyle. You need to know, are you a busy mom? Are you constantly on the go? Are you, what is your lifestyle? Are you a professional who goes in the office? What kind of professional are you? If you're in banking, you have to look completely, your outfits would be completely serious and strict. And if you are in advertising, for example, you could go edgier and you could add a lot to your style. So it depends what your style is, what your lifestyle is. So that's number one. You kind of need to figure out what your lifestyle is. Number two, you have to ask yourself a question. What do you want people to think of you? Like, what message do you want to give out? And what I suggest normally for people to do is actually to sit down and write some keywords. How do they want, like, what sort of message do they want to give out? Do they want people to perceive them as smart, as glamorous, sporty, edgy? Just literally write some keywords on how do you want others to, to perceive you. Number three, yeah, I would say you need to know your coloring. And, Claudia, we did that together. You have to figure out what sort of, I follow the seasonal color analysis. And basically, what it means, every person belongs to a season. And people like me usually figure it out and recommend the colors that suit you best. So you have to know your coloring, what colors suit you best. Number four, you have to know your body shape, because with a different body shape, you would dress, you would apply different clothes styles. Okay, because you always want to hide your imperfections and show off your assets. So you always have to think about that. And after you kind of put that package together, I usually recommend literally just going on Pinterest, for example, or some sort of like Googling, and just Googling those keywords and just Googling, for example, you want to look edgy, and just Googling edgy dress codes or, smart dress code, and see what you like, see what kind of appeals to you, and create a little mood board of those outfits. And then when you have that mood board of, things that you kind of attracted to, things that appeal to you the most, and knowing your body shapes and knowing your coloring, you could kind of determine your style. And the most important thing after you've done this whole process is actually sticking to it. So once you figured out your, the style that you want, the keywords, the style that you want to give out, what appeals to you, you have to constantly make a conscious decision and stick to that. So when you dress up, get dressed in the morning, think about everything, look at your mood board and get dressed accordingly. Or better yet, do the closet detox and only keep the things that, that you want to wear, that the image that you want to give out. And also when you go shopping, stick to that image and stick to those things. So that's in a short version of how you would, figure out your style and how you would go with it.
That was very, very interesting. So you basically you strip yourself down, well, literally. No, but you do like a brainstorming and really think about. Yeah, it's so interesting. I didn't realize that so much thought goes into finding your style. But then, as you say, you just have to constantly remind yourself, because I guess this must be a very easy thing to fall back into your old style, like, every now and then. And I always find that in the spring, I'm like, that's it, I'm now a completely different person, new outfits, blah, blah, blah. But then you go shopping and you come back with another pink top on which you already have. So that is definitely good,
the best advice I could give for that, not to kind of fall off the wagon, is to go shopping with a list in mind. So determine what you need before you leave and go with a list. That way you're not going to make those mistakes, and you will
just
stick
got a lot
to
of thumbs up, I have to say.
Exactly.
just popped up there.
There you go.
I'm clearly not alone with that problem.
No,
cool.
you're not.
You briefly touched on it, how you find your color, and I know you work with the seasonal types, but can you maybe help our viewers find out or tell them more about how the seasonal color scheme, how that works?
So basically, yes, as I said, everybody, when you work with the seasonal color analysis, everybody belongs to summer, winter, autumn, or spring. And the way you determine it is by looking at your skin color, skin tone, rather, whether you're warm or cool, and also looking at your eyes color and your hair color. So once skin tone is the most important thing, and then you take everything from the skin tone, analyzing the eye color and the hair color. And then these are the sort of little coloring swatches. So every season has its own color swatches. And this one, can you see? I don't know if you could see it. It's very bright, isn't it? This is can you see it? So
Winter.
This is the winter, yes.
Winter.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of bright. And basically the colors, whichever season you belong to, you kind of have to think of that season. So if we think of, if somebody belongs to an autumn season, I'm actually autumn, so you would kind of think, what colors do we see in the autumn season? And we see lots of browns, we see lots of sort of purples, yellowish, mustardish yellowish. And those are the colors that would look good on somebody who is autumn, for example. If you think about somebody who is summer, start thinking, what colors do we see in the summer? And we see lots of kind of light blues, light pinks, sort of, flowery colors. So that person would be sort of, wearing those colors. So that's how we think what colors would be good on somebody who is autumn, spring, summer, or whichever season I'm missing now.
Yeah, that is very, very fascinating. And I mean, I mentioned it, but we did the color analysis for me, and we weren't quite sure if it was winter or summer. Can't remember.
No,
so it was kind
winter.
of between. Yeah, but then in the end, we just held the colors next to my face, and it made such a difference. Because before that, I was like, it's just red.
No, for
But
sure.
then when we had a winter shade of red compared to a
Yeah.
summer shade of red, and we're like,
Yeah.
whoa. So yeah,
Yes.
definitely. If you don't know your
Yeah.
skin type or your color type yet, it's worth investigating and finding out more about.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a good one. And you mentioned also mentioned the different body shapes earlier.
Sorry, darling, you broke up
And
for a
I
second.
just Sorry, I just said you mentioned the different body shapes. You kind of dipped into that. Can you hear me again?
Yes, I could hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought maybe you have a few tips for the, well, I'd say three most common problem problem shapes. So, what does someone that is very blessed by nature in the upper department, um, what could they wear to maybe because they have a tendency to look like even though if they're really slim, if they have quite big boobies, let's say boobies,
There's
they
no shame in that.
sorry,
No
no
shame
shame.
in that.
Yeah. There is me trying to be all professional, but in the end, it's all boobies.
Yes.
So yeah, they tend to look bigger overall, even though it is just the
Mm.
chest that is a bit on the larger side. So what would be a good outfit for them?
Well, first of all, just to kind of touch up on that, there is no imperfect shape. You know, I think every single woman, and I honestly, truly see a beauty in every single woman. Whenever I look at somebody, it's the individuality that kind of makes them beautiful. And any shape is a beautiful shape. So when we talk about problem area, big boobs or big bum, they are not a problem area. They are our assets. And they are assets that need to be, you know, showed off. But basically, the rule we follow in when we style somebody is we are trying. There are 5 different shapes. If you kind of analyze a woman, there is an apple. Just to quickly recap, apple, somebody who is prominent in the stomach area. There is a pear who is prominent in the bottom. A triangle, somebody who is bigger on top, and a rectangle, somebody who is kind of, you know, same on the, has very little waist, to say. And then there is an hourglass. And basically, whenever we style a person, the point is to bring that person, the body shape, as close as we can to the hourglass. Okay, so and an hourglass is somebody who is basically proportionate, as wide on the bottom as on top, and has a very defined waist. Okay,
Let me bring in my
so
hourglass.
there you go. That's it. Perfect. That
So
is a
that's what we
perfect
want to
shape.
look like.
That is exactly it. Exactly. So basically, we always want to emphasize our waist, and we kind of want to balance the body out. So if we are wider on top, we want to, you know, make ourselves wider on the bottom. Okay, and emphasize that the waist. So going back to somebody who has a big asset, which is amazing and would make me very jealous. What I could say, and number one thing is you need to invest in the best bra you could possibly go for. And the bra that works best for women with large assets are the full coverage bras with wider straps. So you need to have very, very good support in that area. Okay. If you want to visually minimize your area of assets, you kind of want to go more with sort of darker colors. Okay, so if you wear darker colors on top and lighter colors on the bottom, visually, whoever is looking at you will visually start taking their eyes away from your big boobs. So kind of just downplay your area and put your emphasis with either jewelry or colors away from your asset area. Okay, so if you're wearing, for example, straps, go for wider straps. So do not ever, if you're trying to minimize your boobs, do not ever go for little straps, because that's just going to make it, you know, very visual. V-necks work amazing, but if you obviously want to kind of hide it, don't make the V-neck very low. So still have a V-neck, but kind of, you know, do not expose everything, and have a really nice jewelry, so the attention goes to your jewelry and not to the boobie area. Okay, so these are for scarves, for example. If you're wearing a scarf, don't go for a big chunky scarf. Go for something silky, something, you know, nice, that doesn't kind of overcrowd you. Same goes with jumpers, for example. Don't go for chunky jumpers, because they will, you know, bring that attention. Rather go for something, you know, less chunky, a very small kind of knit. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That is very interesting, and yeah, especially with the scarf, because my first response would be, oh no, but you can cover it up, you know, if you have a big scarf.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a valuable
You're not the
lesson.
only one. You're not the only one, because very often people think that they are big in a certain area, and they try to cover it up with some kind of shawl or something big, but that actually is a big mistake, because that makes them look even bigger. Okay, rather you need to kind of show off your shape, bring attention to your waist, and get rid of all the shawls and all the big things on top of whatever you want to hide your areas in. So because they will make you look bigger rather than smaller.
Okay, cool. There you go. That brings us to the, I guess, pear shape. So if there is a bit more of a bum or a hip rather, what should they go for? What gives good fit for them?
So pear shape, again, think about balancing your body, right? If you're pear shape, your asset is on the bottom, which is actually very in style now. So you want to show it off. Yeah. But think about how you want to balance your body. So if you're bigger on the bottom, you need to bring the attention up. So wear chunky jewelry, wear, you know, dark on the bottom, lighter on top. So do whatever you can to bring your attention, the visual attention, to your top area. You know, you might want to wear shoulder pads. They're very in right now, because all the runways are full with shoulder pads. Wear chunky jewelry. And also, somebody who is big on the bottom should probably avoid wearing very skinny jeans, because if you wear very skinny jeans, you're bringing all the attention to your bottom area. So rather, you want to kind of balance it, and jeans or trousers that go a bit wider towards the bottom or straight would look better on you. Okay. Another thing, you know, high sort of, what do you call it? High neck tops would look good. Try to avoid anything with details, with lots of details on your trousers or skirt or whatever it is you're wearing on the bottom. So try to avoid big pockets, some sort of embellishments. Just keep it neat and keep it dark, and just, you know, stay simple on the bottom. Basically, try to kind of stay simple as you can. To get all the attention to your top area.
Okay, and then that brings us to the apple, I guess. So if you have, if your belly is your most dominant area, what's a tip?
Yes, so if the belly is your prominent area, the best tip I could probably give is to wear wraparound dresses. Wraparound dresses would be your best friend. Also, because they would show off your waist. Usually wraparound dresses are a bit A-line. So you would visually create that hourglass. And also they usually go V-neck, which kind of shows off your boobs. You want to bring the attention to your shoulders. So with somebody who is has a prominent stomach, you want to take the attention away from the stomach and bring it more to your shoulders, show off a bit of cleavage, show off your shoulders. Usually people with a prominent stomach, they have beautiful legs, show off those legs. A-line dresses that kind of start not from your waist, but closer to your boobie area. And they kind of go, those are amazing for somebody who is an apple shape. So I would say, stay away from anything that kind of shows off and tightens your stomach, but rather kind of, bring attention up here and hide your stomach. But wraparound dresses are amazing.
They're the best. Okay, cool. And something that you mentioned over and over again, so just so I can get this right. So everything that's a light color that draws attention, and everything that's a dark color doesn't make the that's the one.
Yes, takes the attention.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So whenever I feel I should hide, or anyone should hide anything, go for dark.
Go for dark, yes. So if you want to minimize your bottom, definitely go for dark trousers. Avoid wearing white trousers.
Yeah.
Well, the same goes for tops as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also for anything, if you want to minimize or visually look slimmer or taller, vertical lines are amazing. So if you wear vertical lines, they would elongate you and they would make you look slimmer.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
and does it make a difference whether they're really fine lines or like proper stripes?
It makes a difference, yes. There is a rule, so you have to be careful. If you go too wide with your stripes, it's not good because you're visually creating a different kind of image. So they need to be a certain width, so not too wide apart, and they can't be too wide. So the stripe, avoid very wide stripes as well. So kind of thin to middle stripes that are not too far away, not too far apart.
Okay. Whew. The whole science there.
It's not that hard, no. Once you get into it. But it is, yes, it is quite interesting. There's a lot.
Yeah. No, and I can tell you totally know what you're talking about, and you love what you're talking about. So it's a pleasure interviewing you and asking you all these questions. And that brings us to our members' questions. And that also brings me, if you have any questions, so the people that are watching, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them away. But now I'd like to ask one of Natasha's questions, which is it good to match a color through your outfit? So I imagine she means if you wear like pink is an extreme example, pink trousers and a slightly darker pink top with really bright pink shoes. So is it a good idea to have an outfit with different shades of the same color?
Absolutely, absolutely. And actually now it's very much in style. So what we're talking about is basically monochromatic outfit, and it's one of my favorite looks. Because anything that kind of monochromatic, it makes you look visually slimmer. It makes you look very kind of put together, very high end. If you kind of look at somebody who's wearing all, and it doesn't have to be all black or all white. It could be any colors, but it's all, if you're wearing all monochromatic, it makes it look very, very put together. So it's an amazing idea to kind of have that outfit. And it could be a different tonality. So it doesn't have to be the same tone, but you could match the tonality. So if you're wearing red, it could be a slightly darker shade of red or slightly, you know, lighter shade of red. As long as on top, you kind of keep it to your seasonal red,
Oh,
then it's
okay.
a good
Yeah.
idea.
It's so close
Yes.
to your face.
But yes. But yeah, absolutely, it's a good idea.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. I never would have thought that, but yeah. No, because the other day I was wearing purple jeans and then I realized I was wearing a purple top as well and I was about to put, no, I don't have purple shoes, but there was something else purple I was about to put on my scarf. And I was like, no, I can't
Yeah.
possibly. There you go. I should have done
No,
it. Would have been
it's
on
one of my
trend.
favorite looks. I love it.
Cool. And the second question she asked, which colors are good for color blocking? I think she meant was so Natasha, I don't know, I can't see if you're watching. If you're watching and I'm asking the wrong question, then please let me know. So color blocking is, I think, when you use two completely different colors
Mm.
as an outfit. Which ones would be good colors to block? So to make it a proper statement look.
Yeah. So basically, you could absolutely match different type of colors, which is, if I have it somewhere here, I could show you actually. So there's such a thing as a color wheel. Can you see it?
Uh, yeah, yeah.
So that's a color wheel, and all the artists, designers, stylists, we all work with this wheel, which is an amazing thing. And mine is quite funky because it kind of goes around, so it's it's very fun to play with. But you could Google it, and
Yeah.
if you don't know how to match your colors, I really recommend having a color wheel, because
Yeah.
one of the best ways to match and wear colors, and that wheel, as I said, you know, if you interior design and you're designing your room or your wallpaper, you would follow the same sort of rules as you would follow in styling. You know, you need to know what colors to match with which. So one of the ways to match colors, as we discussed, is monochromatic. And another way is so monochromatic is actually on this color wheel. If you take one color, so this is monochromatic. Yeah. We're staying within the same color, okay? However, if you want to go completely opposite, this is also a way to match colors. So these colors that are completely opposite on the color wheel go together, okay? So orange and violet, or sorry, orange and blue, okay, if you see, they completely opposite. So that's the way these colors go together, because they clash, they're completely opposite, but you could match them, okay? And it's the same goes for every color. So opposite colors do go very well together, like yellow and violets, you see?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So that's another way of matching colors. So if you want to kind of have it, you know, I really strongly suggest Googling it and just kind of keeping it with you, because then you'll know what colors, you'll never make a mistake. And
cool.
If we're talking about that, another good way of matching colors is when three colors are next to each other, okay? So on a color wheel, if you have three colors next to each other, that's also a good way of matching colors. So if you kind of stay to these three rules, you'll do good.
Yeah, there is a proper science behind it.
Yes.
And talking of colors, are there any colors we need to have this year?
This year is a funny year. Yes, we actually seen, on the runway, we've seen lots of like lilac and lots of yellow, lots of very bright colors. So we're entering kind of, well, not, so last season and this season is very 80s. So we've been seeing a lot of bright colors, but also a lot of like funky pink, funky yellows, purple, but not even purple, but like lilac. So not everybody could wear those colors, but those are the ones we're
Yeah.
seeing. And also like lots of florals, which could actually be good for kind of summer and spring. And so, and yeah, so this is a very strange fashion this season, but it's fun. It's fun.
It's very, very light and happy colors, so
Yes.
that's always
Yeah,
good.
they're happy
Do with
colors. And
the
it's
hat.
very 80s, you know, lots of
Yeah.
shoulder pads and
Yeah.
plastic. So we've seen a lot of like plastic jackets, which are, yeah, like crazy. PVC, plastic. So it's
Really
very, I know, not for everybody, not for me, but yeah.
cool.
But if
So
you want to
thank
go
you
all the
very
way,
much. Yeah,
sorry.
all the way, always.
Yeah,
Plastic, a lilac plastic
plastic.
jacket
You
is for me tomorrow.
exactly.
Cool. If we don't have any more questions, Diana was kind enough to put together a little list of must-have items that every woman needs in her wardrobe. I will post it in the comments below
Perfect.
because I'm sure that is another question that's burning under everyone's nails. And yeah, if there are no other questions, then I'd like to thank Diana. It was super informative and really, really interesting. Where can people find you if they have any more questions or would like to work with you?
So my website is, well, first of all, you could find me on Facebook. It's DG Styling. And my website is www.dianageorgestyling.com. And I don't know if you linked it below or, but it's dianageorgestyling.com.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll post that link in the
Well,
comments
thank
as
you,
well.
darling.
Cool. With
Perfect.
that, thank you so much for your time and for answering all our questions. And
Pleasure.
I'll see all of you next week. And have a good
Perfect.
evening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Gloria. Bye.